Writes, hey, somebody was killed with a starter pistol. Police think it might be race-related.
Race-related.
I
like that one. All right.
Pretty good. Antique shop, and I said, hey, I've got a vintage wooden dildo for sale if you're interested. Well, the assistant looked kind of curious, so I took it out of my bag and I showed it to him. He says, Jesus, it smells a bit funny. I said, I know, it's been in my family for years.
Priceless.
From Jeffrey. Jeffrey says, he writes, you know, doctor said to me, in cases like this, when the due date is passed, it's often possible to induce labor with a good session of vigorous intercourse. I said, I couldn't care less. Get the hell off my wife.
Get off my wife.
And Jeff also writes, my wife started cooking for our guests, and she told me to prepare the table. So I went in and told everybody about her cooking.
Ken's been going to the hospital to see his wife, who's been in a coma for years. And he's sitting there one day, and he grabs her left breast, and she lets out a sigh. So he's excited by this, so he grabs her right breast, and she lets out a moan, and he runs, and he goes and finds the doctor, and he says, Doctor, this is what happened. What should I do? He says, this is going to seem a little bit out there, but I want you to go in there and try a little oral sex, and then see what happens. I'm going to be standing outside the door. This is a personal moment. Let me know what happens. About 5 minutes later, the husband comes back. Goes,
Doc, she's dead. What happened? She choked to death.
You guys are awesome.
Joke of the day, Jim Shorts.
Okay.
From Dirty Dave, Jack goes to his friend Mike and says, hey, I'm sleeping with the minister's wife. Can you hold him in church for an hour after services for me? Well, the friend doesn't like it, but being a friend, he agrees. And after services, he starts talking to the reverend, asking him all sorts of stupid questions just to keep him occupied. Finally, the minister gets pretty annoyed, and he says, all right, what are you really up to? And, well, feeling guilty, Mike finally confesses. He says, I'm sorry, but my friend is sleeping with your wife right now, and he asked me to keep you occupied. The minister smiled, put a brotherly hand on my shoulder, and said, son, you better hurry home to your wife, because my wife died 5 years ago.
I convinced my wife into shaving her massive bush. And it turns out she's actually my husband.
I hate when that happens.
Paul and Al beer on the carpet. So now I'll have to get up and get another one. But I'm too drunk to drive to the pet shop. In the year 1287, Muslims invented the condom using the lower intestine of a goat. In 1832, the British refined it by removing the goat.
Stump the DJ.
Yeah, hi. How do you tell who man's best friend is?
How do you tell who man's best friend is? Oh, is this where you take your dog and your wife and you put them in the trunk of your car, and when you open up the trunk, you find out who's happy to see you?
Yeah, there you go. Drug dealer.
Oh, God, we've heard this. Why don't we buy shoes off of a drug dealer? Why?
Because they're late, and I've been tripping all day.
Dude.
Sounds good?
H-A-Y, hi.
I got a joke for you.
Okay.
Why is the gay community so happy for the last couple of weeks?
Why is the gay community so happy over the last couple of weeks? Why?
Yeah, they finally got fallen out in the can.
Bring on Stump the DJ from our buddy Todd.
Todd writes, I walked into an antique shop and said, hey, I've got a vintage wooden dildo for sale if you're interested. Well, the assistant looked curiously, so I took it out of my bag and I showed it to him. He said, Jesus, it smells a bit funny. I said, yeah, I know. It's been in my family for years.
Todd, congrats.
Good.
Metal lives here with the Metal Zone. Tonight at midnight, get 3 full hours of ear-splitting, head-banging heavy metal with Scarpetti. The longest-running metal show in the universe is on your home of rock and roll. 94